What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into something absolutely insane: the geography of Texas. Now, I know what you might be thinking: geography, isn't that boring? But I promise you, Texas is not just some big state with cowboys and oil wells. It's a place packed with some of the most mind-blowing geographical secrets you will ever hear. We're talking about things that sound completely made up, but are 100% real. This state is hiding some truly unbelievable facts that will completely change how you see it. So get ready, because we're about to go on an epic journey across the Lone Star State. We're going to explore everything from its massive size to its crazy diverse landscapes. I'm talking deserts, mountains, forests, and swamps all in one state. I went through hundreds of facts and picked out the absolute craziest ones for you guys. Seriously, some of the things I found out while researching this video literally made my jaw drop, and I know they're going to do the same for you. I'm putting it to the test. If you already know every single fact in this video, I don't know, maybe I'll give you a cookie. But I bet you won't. So, strap in, because we're about to reveal the geography secrets that make Texas one of the most fascinating places on the entire planet. Let's get into it. Alright, let's kick things off with the most obvious fact, but I promise you, the scale is something you can't even comprehend. Everyone knows Texas is big, right? But what does big actually mean? Texas is the second largest state in the entire United States, right behind Alaska. It covers about 268,597 square miles. To put that into perspective, that is an absolutely colossal amount of land. It's so big that you could fit 10 of the smaller US states inside of it and still have room left over. It's just insane. Imagine this: if Texas were its own country, it would be the 40th largest country in the world. That's bigger than every single country in Western Europe. Let me say that again so it sinks in. You can take France, a huge country, and drop it inside Texas. You can take Germany, another massive European power, and it fits inside Texas. Spain fits. The United Kingdom? You could fit the entire UK inside Texas 2.5 times. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around that scale unless you see it. The sheer size has a massive impact on everything in the state, from its culture to its economy and, of course, its geography. You can have multiple different climates, ecosystems, and ways of life, all coexisting under one state flag. It's not just a state, it's practically a subcontinent. When people say everything's bigger in Texas, they're not just talking about hats and belt buckles. They are literally talking about the ground they're standing on. It's a geographical giant unlike any other in the lower 48 states. This enormous landmass is the foundation for every other crazy fact we're about to explore. Okay, so we've established that Texas is gigantic, but here's where it gets even more unbelievable. Because of its size, Texas isn't just one type of place. It's like 10 different states mashed into one. Officially, geographers have divided Texas into 10 distinct ecological regions. 10. That's an insane amount of variety. Most states are lucky to have 2 or 3. Texas has everything from scorching, dry deserts to lush green forests, and even sticky, humid swamps. It's a geographical buffet. In the west, you have the Trans-Pecos region, true desert country with rugged mountains and canyons. Then you move east and you hit the high plains, that classic flat prairie land you see in movies. Go further east and you enter the piney woods, a dense, humid forest that feels more like Louisiana. It's a completely different world. And that's not even half of it. You have the hill country in central Texas with rolling hills and beautiful rivers. Then there's the Gulf Coast, a massive coastal plain with beaches, bays, and marshlands. There are also the Blackland prairies, the Post Oak savanna, and the South Texas plains. Each region has its own unique climate, soil, plants, and animals. You could spend a lifetime exploring just one of these regions. Driving across Texas is like driving through multiple different countries. You can start your day in a pine forest, drive through grassy plains, have lunch in rolling hills, and watch the sunset over a desert mountain range. This incredible diversity is what makes Texas so unique. It's not a monolith. It's a mosaic of different environments, each with its own character and its own challenges. So, when you think of Texas, don't just picture a dusty, flat wasteland. Picture a state with the ecological richness of an entire continent. With such a diverse landscape, you'd expect some serious differences in elevation, and Texas absolutely delivers. The state has some dramatic peaks and some very, very low points. Let's start at the top. Guadalupe Peak, the highest natural point in Texas. In the Guadalupe Mountains National Park out in West Texas. It reaches a staggering 8,751 feet above sea level. That's over 1.5 miles high. Climbing Guadalupe Peak is a serious challenge, a tough, steep hike through rugged desert mountain terrain. But at the top, one of the most incredible views in the country. You can see for hundreds of miles into Texas and New Mexico. There's a stainless steel pyramid at the summit, a pioneer monument. Standing there, you feel like you're on top of the world. It shatters the stereotype that Texas is flat. Now, from the highest highs to the lowest lows. Literally the lowest you can go. The lowest point in Texas is the coastline along the Gulf of Mexico. The elevation there is exactly sea level, 0 feet. So inside one state, an elevation change of 8,751 feet. That's like stacking 6 Empire State Buildings. This huge range drives Texas's diverse climates and ecosystems. High altitudes in the west create a cooler, drier, almost alpine environment, completely different from the warm, humid subtropical coast. That contrast is what makes Texas so dynamic. Skiing in the mountains, surfing in the Gulf, same day if you had a private jet. The journey from Guadalupe Peak to the Gulf is Texas's geographic identity. From the rocky, arid highlands of the Chihuahuan Desert, down through the rolling plains to the sandy shores and wetlands of the coast. Let's talk about borders. Most state borders are just straight lines drawn on a map, but Texas is different. Texas shares a massive international border with Mexico. The Texas-Mexico border stretches for an incredible 1,254 miles. That's longer than the entire length of Italy. The vast majority of this border isn't a fence or a wall, it's a river. The legendary Rio Grande, or Rio Bravo, as it's known in Mexico, forms the boundary for about 1,248 miles. The river snakes its way from El Paso in the far west all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. This river is more than just a line on a map. It's a lifeline for communities on both sides. The geography of the border region is absolutely stunning and incredibly harsh. In Big Bend National Park, the Rio Grande has carved deep canyons through desert rock over millions of years. Santa Elena Canyon has sheer cliffs that rise up to 1,500 feet directly from the riverbed. It's one of the most remote and breathtaking landscapes in North America. It's a place where you can literally touch 2 countries at the same time. This long, winding border has shaped the culture of South and West Texas. It's a region where 2 languages, 2 cultures, and 2 economies merge. The border is a dynamic, living thing, constantly changing with the flow of the river and the flow of people. So when you think about the geography of Texas, think about this massive, river-defined border. The Rio Grande is the lifeblood of the border, and its long, twisting path is an essential chapter in Texas geography. When you think of states with famous coastlines, California, Florida, but Texas has an absolutely massive and incredibly important coastline that often gets overlooked. The direct coastline of Texas, measured as a straight line along the Gulf of Mexico, is an impressive 367 miles long. That's a huge stretch of coast, but that's not even the craziest part. Here's the mind-blowing secret. If you were to measure the entire tidal shoreline, including bays, inlets, and the shores of its barrier islands, the length explodes to over 3,359 miles. That is an absolutely insane number. To put that in perspective, that's a longer shoreline than the entire West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington. This extensive coastline is protected by a series of long, thin barrier islands, like Galveston Island and Padre Island. Padre Island is the longest barrier island in the world, stretching for 113 miles. These islands are crucial because they absorb the impact of storms and hurricanes, protecting the mainland. Behind these islands are a network of shallow bays and estuaries like Galveston Bay and Matagorda Bay, which are incredibly rich ecosystems and vital nurseries for fish, shrimp, and crabs. The Texas coast is a major economic engine. It's home to some of the largest ports in the United States, like the Port of Houston and the Port of Corpus Christi, which are critical for international trade and the energy industry. It's also a huge hub for commercial fishing and a major tourist destination. So while Texas might be famous for its cowboys and deserts, it's also a major coastal and maritime state. Its hidden 3,300-mile shoreline is one of its greatest geographical assets. It supports a huge diversity of wildlife, powers a massive part of its economy, and provides a unique landscape that is completely different from the interior of the state. Now let's head west, far west Texas. When you get out here, you enter a different world. This region is part of the Chihuahuan Desert, an enormous desert that sprawls across northern Mexico and into the United States. And this isn't just any desert, it's the largest in North America. It's bigger than the state of California. The Texas portion is high elevation with dramatic landscapes. This isn't a desert of endless rolling sand dunes like the Sahara. It's a basin and range landscape, broad flat basins, rugged mountain ranges erupting from the floor. Stark, beautiful, incredibly harsh. Despite being a desert, it's surprisingly full of life. The Chihuahuan Desert is one of the most biologically diverse deserts in the world. Because of the summer monsoon season, it gets more rain than many other deserts. That rain lets specialized plants thrive. Cacti, yuccas, agaves, creosote bushes. It's also home to incredible wildlife like mountain lions, javelinas, coyotes, birds, reptiles. This is the Texas you see in old westerns. It's vast, empty, intimidating. The skies are huge. The stars at night are unbelievable. And the silence can be deafening. National parks like Big Bend and Guadalupe Mountains preserve some of the most spectacular and untouched parts. Exploring this region feels like stepping onto another planet, a place where nature is still completely in charge. So, a huge chunk of Texas is dominated by the largest desert on the continent. It's a place of extreme temperatures, limited water, and rugged beauty. It has shaped a culture of resilience and self-reliance among the people who call it home. The Chihuahuan Desert is a fundamental part of Texas's identity, proving once again that the state's geography is a story of epic extremes. So, we just spent time in the largest desert in North America, right? Now imagine getting in a car and driving east, about 10 hours on the road, then, suddenly, a place that feels like a different country. Welcome to the piney woods of East Texas, complete opposite of the desert west. Not dry and rocky, wet, humid, dense forest. A total shock to the system. The Piney Woods, a massive forest ecoregion, covers East Texas, stretches into Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, millions of acres of towering pines, loblolly pines, shortleaf pines, longleaf pines mixed with hardwoods, oaks, hickories, magnolias, forest floor thick with undergrowth, the air heavy with pine and damp earth, over 50 inches of rain a year in places. That water creates rivers, creeks, swamps, bayous. Big Thicket National Preserve, right in the Piney Woods, one of the most biodiverse areas on Earth. America's biological crossroads, where ecosystems from the east, west, north, and south meet. Culture and economy built around the forest. For generations, the timber industry was king. It's still a massive part of the economy. Towns feel more like the Deep South, the food, the accents, the way of life. A stark contrast to West Texas ranching or the urban sprawl of big cities. In one state, desert and dense forest. Piney Woods shatters any one-dimensional view of Texas. Geography is a story of dramatic contrasts, from landscapes that look like Arizona to ones that look like Mississippi without crossing a state line. It's just another one of Texas's unbelievable secrets. We've talked about the size of Texas in abstract terms, but what does it actually mean for a person on the ground? Well, it means driving. A lot of driving. The sheer distances you have to cover in Texas are honestly just mind-boggling and something you can't truly appreciate until you experience it yourself. It takes an incredible amount of time to get from one side of the state to the other. Let's look at the numbers because, wow, they are insane. From the eastern border with Louisiana to the western edge near El Paso, you're looking at a journey of 773 miles. On major highways, driving at a good speed without stopping much, that trip will take you over 12 hours. 12 hours of driving, and you are still in Texas. You could drive from Chicago to Philadelphia in less time. It is an absolutely epic road trip just across your own state. But wait, it gets even crazier if you go north to south. From the top of the Panhandle to the southernmost tip near Brownsville is 801 miles. That is even longer. This trip can take you closer to 13 hours or 14 hours. You can drive from New York City all the way to a beach in South Carolina in about the same amount of time it takes to drive from the top of Texas to the bottom. This has a huge impact on life in Texas. 2 hours, 3 hours, which people in smaller states would consider a major trip. Families and friends can live in the same state but be a full day's drive away from each other. It affects logistics for businesses, travel for sports teams, how people think about their own state. The mental map of a Texan is just scaled differently because of these immense distances. So the next time you're on a road trip and you cross into Texas, be prepared. You're going to be here for a while. The endless ribbon of highway stretching out in front of you is a testament to the state's colossal scale. It's a geographical feature you experience not with your eyes, but with your time. With such vast distances and varied landscapes, it should come as no surprise that Texas doesn't have just one climate. It has many. The climate in Texas is incredibly complex and varied, leading to some wild weather extremes. Depending on where you are in the state, you can experience weather that feels like it belongs in completely different parts of the country. Officially, Texas is broken up into several climate zones. In the eastern part of the state, piney woods, Gulf Coast, you have a humid, subtropical climate. This means hot, sticky, humid summers and mild, cool winters. It's very similar to the climate in states like Florida or Georgia. The air is thick, thunderstorms are common. It's the kind of weather that makes you want to find air conditioning fast. As you move west, the climate becomes progressively drier. Central Texas and the Panhandle are mostly semi-arid. It's still hot in the summer, but the humidity drops off significantly. Classic plains weather, hot winds, and a risk of drought. This is where you see those dramatic temperature swings, where a cold front can drop the temperature by 30 or 40 degrees in just a few hours. Keep going west, and you enter the true arid or desert climate of the Trans-Pecos region. Here, rainfall is scarce, the sun is intense, and the temperature difference between day and night can be extreme. It's a harsh, dry heat. But then, the highest peaks in the Guadalupe Mountains and the Davis Mountains have a cooler alpine climate due to their high altitude, where it can even snow in the winter. So on any given day in Texas, it's possible for one part of the state to be experiencing a humid 95-degree day with a pop-up thunderstorm, while another part is having a dry 100-degree day under a clear blue sky, and yet another part, up in the mountains, could be a pleasant 70 degrees. This incredible climatic variety is a direct result of the state's size, its range in elevation, and its position between the Great Plains and the Gulf of Mexico. All of this diverse geography and climate comes with a dark side. Texas is a hotspot for some of the most dangerous and destructive natural hazards on the planet. Its unique geographical position makes it extremely vulnerable to two major threats: tornadoes, hurricanes. In fact, Texas holds the unfortunate record for being the #1 state for tornadoes. Texas is located at the heart of an area known as Tornado Alley. Cool, dry air from the Rocky Mountains, warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. Those air masses collide, creating explosive conditions for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. The state averages around 139 tornadoes every single year. That is more than any other state by a long shot. These storms can be incredibly violent and destructive, tearing through communities in the northern and central parts of the state. But the threat doesn't stop there. While the plains face tornadoes, the coast is on constant watch for hurricanes. The state's long Gulf coastline makes Texas a prime target for tropical cyclones from the Atlantic and Gulf. Historic strikes like the Galveston hurricane of 1900 and more, recently Hurricane Harvey in 2017, which caused catastrophic flooding. The 1-2 punch of tornadoes and hurricanes means Texans must be prepared for almost anything. Emergency management services are constantly planning and drilling for large-scale disasters. The geography that gives Texas its richness and diversity is the same geography that puts residents in the path of danger. It's a constant battle against the power of nature. Spinning funnels in the sky, massive storm surges on the coast. The threat of natural hazards is a fundamental part of life in Texas. It's a stark reminder of the immense power of the natural world. This vulnerability to extreme weather is the final and perhaps most dramatic secret of Texas geography. It's a state of beauty, but also of immense and humbling power. And that is a wrap on 10 of the most unbelievable geography secrets about the state of Texas. From being bigger than entire countries to having 10 different ecosystems, a coastline longer than the entire West Coast, and the scariest weather in the nation, Texas is truly a land of epic proportions and insane contrasts. I honestly had no idea about some of these, and I hope your mind is as blown as mine was when I first learned about them. The sheer scale and diversity packed into this one state is just incredible. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What was your favorite fact from this video? Was there anything that completely shocked you? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, I know there are tons of other crazy facts about Texas out there, so if you know one that I missed, share it with everyone in the comments. I'll be reading through them, and I'm genuinely curious to see what other secrets this state is hiding. Thank you so much for watching. If you had fun and learned something new, do me a huge favor and smash that like button, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on. It helps us out a ton and ensures you won't miss our next adventure. We have so many more insane videos like this one coming your way, and you are not going to want to miss out. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.